What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Bible Bites, where you're getting Bible truth line by line in context in 5-ish minute lessons. I did a 5-minute lesson last time, so I'm proud of myself. So there you go. We're going to keep it rolling. All right. So we left off with Romans 9:23, and we were talking about the preparation of the vessels of mercy. All right. Versus the preparation of the vessels of dishonor. Israel versus the world. All right, so we're going to keep going with that. Go back and watch the last video for more context, but let's roll. All right, 9:24. Now, Paul clarifies who the vessels of mercy are here. Notice verse 23 ends with a comma and verse 22 ends with a semicolon, meaning this verse is a continuation of thoughts. So the verse begins, even, and that's truly, okay, even is truly us, whom he, God in Christ, is called, not of the Jews only, but also of the Gentiles. Remember, Romans 9:22 is a question. What if God was willing to show his wrath on the vessels of destruction after enduring long suffering from them to make his power known? But then an addition to that equation gets introduced, right? God, in contrast, wants to make known the riches of his glory on the called. Notice, the vessels of destruction, God wants to show his wrath and make known his power. But the vessels of mercy, God wishes to make known the riches of his glory. But the mercy vessels are the called according to our context, right? And the called are both Jew and Gentile, basically everyone, which that tracks with Romans 1:16 and all the other verses and concepts we've been introduced to so far. But here's a thought. Are we seeing a theme forming that God will call out to the whole world, right? But those called become clay vessels of mercy, while those of the same clay lump who reject the call are fitted for destruction after God hardens the heart they already chose to continually harden, right? And all this so all things can work together for the good of them that love God. Even the opposition vessels of destruction produce against God in their enmity state gets used because a real Jew has been circumcised in the heart and soul, not in a physical way, right? So if Paul is saddened, going back to the beginning of the chapter, right? If Paul is saddened for Israel as a nation, then it appears that, like the Gentile Pharaoh, God has hardened the hard hearts of the nation of Israel. And he set some for destruction, like the golden calf Israelites, right? Not individuals. They can find Christ, like some found the promised land. But as a whole, the nation is hardened. Golly. Okay, Romans 9:25. Paul references OC. I don't know how to say it, OC here, but that's the book of Hosea. So in Hosea chapter 2, verses 1-23, this chapter literally gives us the history of the Jews and their temporary separation from God. Notice temporary separation. Let's walk through it, okay? Hosea 2:4. God will not have mercy upon her children. That's modern Jews, okay? Hosea 2:5. Jews will have many lovers, okay? Those are idols, gods. Hosea 2:7. Israel will return to God after being scorned by her lovers, all right? Hosea 2:8, Israel will then realize God was the one who used the riches of Baal, okay? That's a false god. The riches of Baal to provide for them. See the context? Man, let's go. Hosea 2:9-23 is about Israel being re-betrothed, okay, re-engaged with God. And then in Hosea 2:23, we get the statement about being called my people, which were not my people, after saving a remnant of Israel. Meaning, the Jews were cast away from God, but they will one day be brought back to him, and he will once again call them his people. This whole vessels of destruction and mercy is about national Israel in relation to the true gospel of Jesus Christ, not Gentiles. Israel were adulterous, but they will be re-betrothed. Let's go. Romans 9:26. Now, Paul then reveals that in the same place where Israel was separated from God, Israel will be reconciled as children of the living God. Romans 8:16 told us we, gospel-saved people, will also be children. So in the latter days, according to Hosea, The factions of Judah and Israel will come together under Christ, retaking the promised land Moses was taking them to in Exodus. And that's where we're going to pause. Go back, man. I like when you get some history involved when the Old Testament gets mixed into the New Testament. So you really start to see that they are books of this, two sides of the same coin. All right. You cannot separate the Old Testament from the New Testament. You will be missing out on so much. I love this, guys. Thank you for this journey. This is Bible Bites. I'm out. I'll talk to you next time. Later.